Well, I'd like to welcome Don Thomas, friend, partner, and customer. Thank you, Don, for joining me for this customer interview. Again, just thankful for the relationship we've had over many years, and again, for joining me here on this call. Would you please tell me a little bit about yourself and your operation and what you do at your operation?
Well, our operations on the East Coast involve 6 Planet Fitness clubs that we have in parts of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, some commercial real estate properties that we've acquired and developed, including the Fruitville Crossings right on the Fruitville Pike in Lancaster. We have properties in New Jersey that we've developed. We have Planet Fitness clubs there as well. And so primarily commercial real estate, Planet Fitness clubs. We also have a tanning salon in Hummelstown, Pennsylvania that we've had for quite a few years. And that's part of our business operations in your neck of the woods.
And you're a family-owned business, and you've been a part of it for?
Well, the family-owned businesses that I've been a part of go back to the 80s, 82, 83. We started with some A to Z video stores in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. I've been involved with the Willow Valley communities with my Uncle John, Aunt Florence, who are no longer with us, but now Marlon and his 2 daughters that are part of the Willow Valley communities and the hospitality operations there, the senior care facilities that are there, the shopping centers that are there. So we've been involved in the Pennsylvania Lancaster County marketplace going back quite a few years.
Yes. And what's your current role with your company?
Some say that I encounter problems and I solve them, and sometimes I cause problems and I try and solve those as well. But in a serious vein, God has blessed me with the skills and abilities to be a business development representative and consultant. I've served in a number of board capacities in our family organizations. Right now, I serve as assistant president and CEO to my youngest brother, Art, who's our president and CEO, my middle brother, Dwight, who's our corporate operations manager. And we're the team that heads up the Planet Fitness clubs, the shopping center in Fruitville Crossings, and the tanning salon in Hummelstown, as well as the New Jersey properties.
Great. And remind me, how did you hear about Moser Roofing?
You know, when you have your leaks in your roof, you begin to look around to see. I think probably the touch point was we had acquired a business from a Planet Fitness franchisee on Millersville Pike. We bought the franchisee out, and we learned early on that the roof had a bunch of leaks. And we worked with the roofer that had been involved with that property when it was the Lancaster Racquetball Club and patched a few things, but it just seemed that the patches didn't hold. And so we just kind of put out the word that we're looking for a more experienced, capable roofing resource. And Moser Roofing came up, and we contacted you, and you came by and you impressed the daylights out of us with your analysis of our patient on the roof there. Because in addition to what we had inside the building, we also, one of our tenants there on the roof is T-Mobile with the satellite boxes. And they were in some ways contributing to the roof leaking situation. But Moser Roofing was very knowledgeable, gave us a real good diagnosis of what we needed to do short-term and long-term. And the bottom line is Moser Roofing solved our problems at a complex property where at that time in 2014, when we took over the Planet Fitness Club, we were not the owner of the property. We were the major tenant with a lot of responsibility, including the roof and the parking lot and so forth. We've since become the owner of that property. We bought it in December of 18. And so Moser Roofing came to us as a resource that met a need at a specific time. And we've we've branched out beyond the Millersville Pike property with Moser Roofing at a number of our other locations and been very pleased.
Very kind, thank you. And you've already touched on some of the other questions as far as the transformation you experienced with the repair of your leaks. Are there any other specific metrics that you could share that kind of explain some of the benefits you received with roofing services?
A couple of aspects. In addition, as you know, Josh, you completely replaced the roof that we had at the Altoona property, where we had acquired it jointly with the Altoona Alliance Church. It was an old property that had been dark for a while. The church moved in. It was bigger than they could handle. We bought in to create a commercial condominium there. And early on, it became clear that between the church's roof, so to speak, and our roof, we needed to work together. And you provided not only a thorough diagnosis and analysis of what was needed, but you provided a solution, very reasonable, for both of us working together with you to totally replace and repair that roof at that property. I'd say a couple of the things that you brought to the table that some of the other roofers we had contact with in the past did not. And that's in the area of your technology that you use in the diagnosis process. We all understand you can walk around the roof and you can see bubbles and you can see cracks and that sort of thing, but the infrared analysis that you provided gave us for the first time an in-depth sense of what the structural aspects of repairing or replacing a roof. And frankly, we did not get that from some of the other roofing services. I just think that your approach to using technology to helping your customers understand what you really have, or maybe in some cases what you don't have, is part of what made the difference. Then we talked about getting into a quarterly ongoing analysis. I mean, for our properties, we do quarterly servicing on HVAC. We do a lot of other safety security things on a quarterly basis, but we had never done the kind of quarterly roofing analysis and tweaking that you brought to the table. We believe that has saved us a lot of time, a lot of money on some of our older properties where we're still trying to, make a roofing situation work for a period of time before we totally replace it. But the use of technology and the thoroughness of what you guys provide on a quarterly basis has really made a difference for us.
Thank you. And wrapping this interview up, what would you say is required for someone to realize similar changes that you've experienced in relation to roof management and roof service?
I think it starts with some of the basic values and principles that we look for, but we don't always find with contractors. And that is the basics of trust and credibility, thoroughness of the analysis, a sense of not being taken advantage of. And I hate to say that, but unfortunately that has, over the many years we've been in business, sometimes we have felt that we were taken advantage of because there was an emergency, there was a problem, and we got it responded to, but not necessarily on a long-term basis, as we sometimes found down the road. But with Moser, quite frankly, Josh, you and your team have consistently impressed us with your approach to credibility, honesty, thoroughness, good use of technology, and a sense that not only are we getting a fair deal, but we're getting a good deal. And for our family, that's an important part of how we try and do business. And when we find it in somebody else that's helping us, then we stay with them.
Well, thank you so much, Don, for this time and taking your busy schedule. And like as always, it's great to see you and speak with you. Have a blessed week.
You too, Josh. Thank you very much for all you do for us.
Thank you.
Okay.